Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well, and salutations to you, brothers, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. All right, coming at you with another lesson. As you see here, this is from RT, and it says, BRICS reveals 6 new members. All right, the group of rising world powers will more than double its ranks. All right. And this is important because, you had the brother Ariella from Dallas do a live stream yesterday going into, this BRICS situation and the collapse of the dollar. And he was saying that this is more. It's not necessarily a currency. The nations, the BRICS nations getting together and other nations wanting to join them as well is not so much going to collapse the dollar as it's a means of gathering nations together for war. That's pretty much what it's for, So, with that, hey, it's all prophecy, okay? It's all prophecy. Now, here in the article it says Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are joining the BRICS group of nations after their candidacies were approved on Thursday by leaders of the current member states. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced. It says the 6 newcomers will become full-fledged members starting January 2024. The club currently consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS expansion topped the agenda of the summit in Johannesburg this week. It says, we value the interests of other countries in building a partnership with BRICS. We've tasked our foreign ministers to further develop the BRICS partners country model and a list of prospective partner countries, the South African leader added. BRICS previously expanded only once in 2010 when South Africa joined the organization. The admission was made without any prerequisites. One of the key goals of this year's summit was to agree to more formal criteria for new candidates. All right, but the key part, the key note in this article, all right, is Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, in particular, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Iran. All right, now me saying that is because here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, the scriptures get into this specific prophecy that we actually see unfolding. All right, so as you see, it says prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel. Okay, it says and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. All right, so Gog and Magog is referring to the Russians, all right, the modern day Russians. All right, because when you look at an ancient biblical map, the region of Gog and Magog is where the Russians inhabit today. So that's how you know who it's talking about. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the Lord is against the Russians. Now, we, you know, so like, brothers cheer on, Gog and Magog, the Russians. All right, with what it is that they're doing, because that's going to bring about the end of Babylon the Great. All right, the so-called Russians are the main ones. That's going to, bring about the end of Babylon the Great. The Russians, the Chinese, all right, some of those Middle Eastern nations, Iran. So we cheer it on, man. All right, we cheer on the Russians, man. Okay, because man's goings are of the Lord, and the Most High ruleth in the nations. So like that. All right, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of nations. Roughly paraphrasing what it says in Daniel's the 4th chapter. All right, so we look forward to the so-called Russians pushing that button. Okay, so even though the Russians is looked at by certain, like in the West, the Russians is looked at as the boogeyman and the bad guys and all this, but over in other parts of the world, in the East, they're not perceived as such. The only ones who's looking at the Russians some kind of way is Western countries, European countries and America for the most part. All right, but other nations look at Russia as being some type of ally. So like it. Hold on just a second. All right. But nevertheless, the Lord is against the so-called Russians. All right. They're trying to become the new police of the earth, so to say. All right. Verse 4 says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords." So Russia, going into Africa, going into Niger, and other countries in Africa, becoming an ally to them, helping them fight off their occupiers, like the French in Niger. Russia doing that, he's accumulating allies for this World War III. Okay, and the Lord said He's going to bring them back. Okay, horsemen and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company but with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. Because with Russia going over there into these other regions and becoming allies to them to help them pretty much defend themselves against Western occupation, there's a lot of military weapons that they're getting from the Russians, like missile defense systems, all right, certain tanks, certain missiles, okay, or artillery, things of that nature. And that's this prophecy here of all of them holding all kind of sorts of armor, okay, buckler and shields, all right, which is being supplied to these various nations, all right, by the Russians. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Okay, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah and all the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. Okay, so let's look up a little bit of this. Now, Persia is the ancient, the ancient Persians today is the so-called Iranians, which, as you see here, Iran was one of the nations that was accepted into BRICS. All right, Ethiopia and Libya. Now, Ethiopia was one of the nations that was accepted into BRICS, and Libya wasn't. But when you look at a map, Egypt is right next to Libya. Okay. Now, at some latter point, Libya could be accepted into BRICS, or some way somehow, they end up striking a deal or needing Russian occupation or assistance from Russia some way somehow. But however it happens, prophecy is going to be fulfilled. Okay. It says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah and the north quarters, all his bands and many people with thee. All right. So looking up some of these words, it says Gomer, right? And that's Hebrew 1586, Gomor, which means complete. Okay, it says the eldest son of Japheth, the grandson of Noah, the progenitor of the early Cimmerians and other branches of the Celtic family. All right. So let's look this up. Cimmerian. Okay, member of the ancient nomadic people who overran Asia Minor in the 17th century BC. Okay. All right. So it said Asia Minor. Now, Asia Minor is up in the region of Turkey. That area. It says Togarmah. Let's look that up. Okay. All right. It's a Thaga Ramah that will break her. It says son of Gomer, grandson of Japheth, and great grandson of Noah. All right, territory settled by the descendants of Togarmah. Okay, probably an area known as Armenia. All right. So that region there, which is Asia Minor as well. So the people that live in that region today, currently, the Asia Minor region is let's see. Let's go to this map, this handy map. All right. All right, so this Asia Minor region is here where you see Turkey. Okay. It mentioned Armenia. All right, which Armenia is right here beneath Georgia, Russia. Okay, because you got Russia, all this is Russia here, which Ukraine borders Russia. Georgia borders Russia. Okay, Armenia, it was mentioned. And then you got Turkey, which is Turkey is Asia Minor. All right. So that region is gonna be real real crazy. It's already crazy over there in that region. Okay, but those is going to be regions that is protected in by the Russians and, you know, allies of the Russians. All right, because you got to remember, Georgia and Armenia, they actually border Russia. All right, so, you know, obviously Russia would you know, want to protect that border, you know, and in doing so they might end up, you know, giving them weapons, you know, giving Georgia, Russia, giving Armenia weapons, Azerbaijan weapons, you know, giving Turkey weapons. Okay. So it says, I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So Russia's going to be a guard unto these nations. All right? Russia's going to be a guard unto these nations and actually protect them, you know, during this World War III. All right, they're going to band together and you know, duke it out. You know, they're going to band together and you know, fight it out. But ultimately, after they fight it out, you know, in the midst of all that, the Lord is going to return and they're going to try to fight against him. Okay? This is Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Because right now the land of Israel is parted. All right. So the Lord said he's going to gather all these nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, you know, which is Yahweh's judgment, because these nations have to be judged because all of them had a part and a hand in the downfall in you know, oppression of the Israelites. Okay, not only were they you know, certain nations partook in, you know, the slave trade, in particular Amalek, and you had also you had the Arabs that partook in that slave trade. Okay, but you know, coming here to the Americas, you got all the nations that came over here and got above us very high, right? And didn't give a shit about, still to this day they don't care about, you know, the you know, the oppression of the Israelites. Okay, so all these nations have to be gathered, and the Lord is going to actually judge them in that land. All right, judge them in that land. Okay. And you know, that's pretty much the point. But we're approaching a time where that World War III is about to the can is about to, you know, the top's about to pop off the can, man, to where it's just the whole planet is gonna know, like, yeah, we're in the thick of World War III right now. Okay, that's the time, that's the season we're in. All right, and these nations joining BRICS, which is pretty much nations making an alliance with other nations for matters of war, is a clear indication that we are that much closer to you know, World War III, to Armageddon. All right. So Lord willing, that was edifying. Until next time, shalom.